Hello and welcome back to the devlog. This is number 7, week 7. Bit of a shorter week this time because I had a bunch of interviews to attend to, but I got some things done this week, so I'll discuss starting with Monday and Tuesday. So I was having a problem with the shooting animation. Um, I had mistakenly broken the armature um, because I had inserted a parent object in order to get the proper orientation correct in order to do rotation on the head. Um, since this broke the armature, it had the illusion that the animation was working, but the animation could not no longer control the head, which I found out later. So the armature is closely tied to the FBX that's imported in the animation. So I was kind of stuck having to figure out a solution for rotation where um, I could not modify the original structure's orientation, improper orientation. So I spent a bunch of time. I know about quaternion rotation, but the tricky bit is when the local orientation is not in the proper, like this in this picture here. The Y is not pointing upwards. Um, so spending a lot of time, and finally got a solution working where I could actually rotate and keep with a quaternion rotation and keep the one of the axes fixed, so it couldn't roll. It just uh, the the yaw and the pitch, I believe. So that worked. The only problem with that is that now the armature was fixed and the animations can play, and the head was no longer broken. But now I could not apply manual rotation, quaternion rotation, because uh, the armature was in control of the animations and the animation controller. So, uh, kind of, fixed one problem, but, introduced another problem. So, Wednesday and Thursday, I was kind of trying to find a solution because the Invector does head tracking, so they implement some sort of like IK to bypass um, the actual animation controller. But that's kind of beyond my knowledge as a kind of a more of a novice developer. In my research, I came across another solution. Instead of diving into an vector and see how they do it, I came across a solution called animation rigging package from Unity. And basically, following the tutorial, it gives you a simple way to implement head IK and kind of overwrite the animation's particular part of the body, specifically look animations, looking at a target. So that worked pretty good. It allowed me to pretty much set a point, and then depending on the target detected, I could set that point to the target, and it would set the head orientation to look at the target while another animation was playing. So, and I can adjust the weight um, depending on if I wanted the controller to take over the head orientation or the actual head tracking. Um, okay, so um, from there, I started to fix up the broken FSM. I had done a lot of work to try to, and everything was pretty much broken. So I fixed up the state machine now to kind of send out a message on detection, the attack, the combat action, send a signal to the controller to send out a signal to say, okay, I detected a target using within common combat range. I want you to attack, and basically all that involves. What that means is playing a shoot animation, and then eventually actually shooting a VFX. So implementing the functionality of actually shooting at a target. So working through a lot of issues, struggling again with assembly reference issues and a whole bunch of bugs. I took the time to reorganize the project's packages in a cleaner, more way instead of just plopping them on the first root level. And in order to, well, I was able to get the FSM fixed up to actually, and the animation controller to actually, when the target is detected, I'll give a demo at the end, to when it detects and it's within combat range, that heal will switch to playing his shooting animations from a walking or idle animation. So from there, I was moving on to implementing the actual firing the laser VFX. So that brings us to working with. I bought a package that has a bunch of sci-fi shooting laser stuff, and I did a lot of testing to figure out how to actually. It uses a bunch of particle system and actual shaders, and I finally figured out like the difference between the shader graph and the shader objects. The shader objects just use they're a full shader, but what my Amplify package does is it actually gives you a way to program the shaders like you're in shader graph. So I finally figured that out. Anyways, trying to figure out how to actually write a script to attach it to the gun and modify from their demo scene in order to attach the same logic to the gun and actually trigger a firing along with the shooting animation. So that whole work on that. At the end of Thursday, I actually got it working in some sense, but the laser didn't really look good. It kind of, there's something from I had to start from the beginning and took the time to optimize the render pipeline settings for VR so that I can increase the frame rate as much as possible. But at the same time, the demo projects, it just didn't look right. The muzzle flash rendering was not showing up. The lighting was off. It just didn't look normal. So on the start of Friday, I took a clean URP project, imported that laser VFX package, and tried to get it working the way it should be, and then compared it with the settings of my current project in order to get the desired visual look, all while optimizing for VR. So kind of a balanced, best of both worlds kind of approach. So now I can kind of give a demo of what that all looks like. So we'll go ahead and play this now. So gets within range, and now he's firing his laser, and I think it looks pretty good. We're now getting this kind of glow, this emissions glow from the pipeline, which I think is great, and we're getting that real that good VFX look. We're getting the muzzle flash. It's kind of hard to see going so fast, but red color. It did have a red lighting glow on the bottom here. I'm not sure that went away. That's broken, but we have a splash. So I took the time to make my own, copy over the materials and change it to a red color because it was green, which I prefer in this case. So when he detects, now he's playing his shooting animation with an additive. So he's kind of he's kind of shooting his cannon, and on top of that he's adding his shooting animation. So it's like an additive animation. So I'm figuring that out. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So the last thing I took care of when this was kind of figuring out what to do next. So I was just testing around, and I was spotting a bunch of issues with the. It's kind of rough around the edges. The actual detection, like what happens when he transitions from different states. Like as far as his movement goes. So he would like jerkily, when he go out of range, he instead of going back to the patrol, his the aim is closely tied to his body rotation. So I moved the aim target out, and now he moves a lot cleaner and smoother, and it doesn't look so janky. It looks when he loses you, he goes and there's a waiting. There's also what I did. You can see the target, how he tracks, and he's kind of missing at first, but I put a random accuracy increaser, so if you're staying in detection range, he'll actually get more accurate and start hitting you. Initially, he'll be pretty off the mark, but eventually he'll start to get you, so you can't really hang around. And then when you go out of target, then he smoothly transitions. So it just looks a lot cleaner, a lot more polish when he goes back to different states. And just did a bunch of testing. Anything that looked off or didn't look right, I kind of went in there and really fine-tuned the mechanics. So now you can kind of see how he tracks and how the target's following around, and yeah, it's a good bit amount of progress for now. So that kind of wraps up the week for what I've done. So yeah, fine-tuning work, fixed a whole bunch of bugs from the enemy controller, and then so next last couple minutes I started working on the functionality when you do the stealth. When you hit the stealth button, then that means you pretty much lose the target, so he'll go back to patrolling. So kind of working with the system and trying to figure out how to get that implemented properly. Yeah, that's about it for the week. So upcoming work, the laser shot light, when he's shooting at you, you're not seeing that clearly on the ground. I gotta fix that. Like I said, the stealth event, losing the target. So as an audience, you can take a vote on, after those things are wrapped up, which functionality should I tackle next? Should I go for the player taking damage and then maybe playing a death animation? Should I work on player shields, like a bubble effect, like a VFX, when he's getting hit? You see like it hitting a shield instead of the target. Or should I go and start working on player firing animations? So pretty much not just walking around, but actually, the character can actually hold guns and maybe even that's a bigger feature, but hold guns and maybe shoot those guns with I have some different laser effects I can do. I haven't decided on which way to go yet. So go ahead and vote on those three things if you want to. Some of the secondary features I'm trying to get, I want to do a enemy visual nose cone. So instead of this yellow debug, I want to put like a VFX, like maybe like a red cone, like a transparent red cone. That would be kind of cool. I have some rain and weather effects I want to implement. One of the things I want to do further with the enemy AI is when he's on patrol, I want him to kind of instead of staying fixed to the point, I kind of want him to, you know, scan randomly left and right, you know. That's one of the things. And also, when he's chasing you, features like, you know, a time to acquire, like he's not instantly locked on the target, but he's kind of there's kind of a time before he's alerted to seeing you and locking onto you. So there's that, and then also when he loses you, he will actually patrol to the last seen location and then look around for a bit before returning on patrol. So more features and enhancement to the enemy AI controller. Different states, like, you know, when he's chasing you, maybe he moves a little faster. So more work to be done on that. And then also the last thing would be a stealth duration limit. So you can't just stealth indefinitely and get away with it. So you can only go stealth for so long, and then you reappear. So yeah, that's I think that's all the discussions we've had for now. And thanks for listening and watching. And if you have any input, feel free to make a comment. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.